And this is what we just talking about. We talking about people say standards. I said standards. Let's read. This is what I just wrote. Standards. A lot of women talk and scream about their standards. Yes, you should have high standards. I believe you should have high standards. But don't. I said you should have high standards for yourself, but don't let it be because what a man can offer you. What a man can offer you, you can obtain yourself. That's not standards. That's just learned behavior.
Facts.
You feel me? Like
Facts.
most women, they be like, I got high standards, but they be high standards for bum chicks. And they want you to give them this like what they see on TV. They want you to give them this life, and you be like,
well, that's what that is. That's TV
That's
life.
what Sierra left you for.
Looking at other Instagram, like, stop it with this. I want only to have high standards, but you got to be able to. Your standards need to be high, and I need to see it. I need to see the standards. Because people be saying I got standards, and you be like, your standards is McDonald's. Our standards be traveling the world. Our standards be I hold myself to a higher status, or I'm gonna go get this, or I'm gonna ground myself to the point where I want to live rich. That's my standard. What is your standard? People, like girls, always we need to ask girls, what is your standard? Because people be like, standards. I want to be this. It's not standards. What you obtain from a man is not standards, young lady.
That's a fact.
People, they just be I've been seeing this people saying standards like the last couple of days, so that's why I was talking to my boy Majah.
So a woman that let's say this, right? Let's say a woman been through a couple relationships, got hurt, and the dude that hurt them probably wasn't contributing nothing to their life, right? It just was a dude that they was talking to. They really like him. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't helping them pay their bills, none of that. And now that she's been hurt a few times, right? She feel like she deserves better. And she feels like she deserves better because of what though? Because of the hurt she been through, or because she built herself to a certain standard?
I think it's a combination of the two.
Yeah. Women, you've been hurt, but men been hurt. But they don't care about that when men be hurt. They be like, hey, what you got? The other girl hurt you, I ain't hurt you. What you coming with?
But I'm just saying, that could be a reason why they use it. Because a lot of people nowadays, let me just say this. A lot of people out nowadays, they use a lot of words out of context, bro. They replace words with words that they don't even understand that they're using. So a lot of people might be sitting there talking about, yo, I got standards. They don't even know what they're talking about. No, you got dreams. That's what you got. You got dreams. You hope that you're going to find a dude that's lit, or you hope you're going to find a dude that got good bread, or you hope you find a dude. That's what you want. You got dreams. You got expectations, but you ain't got standards.
Yeah, because you say your standards. You say, I got standards, but my standards is a housewife.
Right. So you can't sit in your house. You can't be a housewife, not work, and do all of this stuff and expect that you're gonna be an entrepreneur. That's not gonna happen unless you put in that work to do that.
The point I need to say, you just have to have realistic standards.
So,
a standard could be a guy treating you right. I get that.
Right.
But
what's treating you right? What's that? What's treating you right?
Standards, they gotta know how to treat themselves. And like I said, learn behavior. So if I come in your life and you treat yourself to a high level, I'm gonna treat you on that high level. But I come in your life and you working a 9 to 5. And 9 to 5, there's nothing wrong with that. But you just go into the. I'm gonna go give me some Chinese food, and I'm eating Philippe's.
Yo, hello. So I'm here, but my screen is blacked out because I don't want to be seen.
That's all right. We don't care.
Okay, but listen. So, where do I start? I'm very spiritual. I'm not religious. Let me just put that out there.
Okay.
Very wise. I was raised by my grandmother, who was born in 1930, as well as her son. I was born in a house full of wisdom, right?
Okay.
And I'm an intellect. My father was a spiritual teacher. My uncle's a spiritual teacher. I come from a long line of spiritual teachers. Everybody up here is talking about money. Money is nothing. Money has no value. The Bible says a good name is better than money. Wisdom is better than money, right? Standards should not consist of money because at the end of the day, the richest person in the room is the wisest person. So you can have all the money in the world and be dumb as fuck. I recently turned down a Splenda daddy, not a sugar daddy because he won't get in shit, but he was giving me an allowance every month and buying me whatever I mentioned.
To do what?
Just to give him my time. I told him when he first came in the situation, he's like, meet me, I want to give you some money, I want to give you some gas money. I kept denying it. He's like, meet me, I said I want to give you some money. I'm like, calm down, I don't need your money, like relax.
Look,
right?
So let me ask you on really before you say you can say, because he thought that was your standard.
But I told him.
When you held yourself, he was like,
he offered you gas money.
No, listen.
Come with the money.
No,
Splenda daddy.
He didn't say he was taking you to Boca. He said, I mean, Bora Bora. He said, come get this gas money.
Listen to what I'm telling y'all.
Okay,
The area in which I live, the women are known to be prostitutes. Okay. Yeah. So that's how he felt. He's an older man. He's about 60. He got 3 teeth in his mouth, but he dressed real nice, right? So he's probably paying because he has 3 teeth in his mouth. He probably feels this is the only way I could get attention. But I let him know from the jump. I say, yo, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been taking care of myself since forever. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 10. My son's been an entrepreneur since he's 3. Both of my children. I was like, I don't need your money, but we can communicate. And if, you want to give me money, you can, but you're not getting anything from me. I let him know that from the jump.
All right, wait. Let me just say one thing. Wait. Let me just say one thing. Hold on. Let me just say one thing. Okay, so your standard.
That's why she got.
Because everything you mentioned about was money just now. Let me just.
No,
put that out
I
there.
didn't ask for it. I told him.
No.
I don't want it.
No, but listen what I'm saying. Everything you mentioned just now has to do with money. I'm an entrepreneur. My son is an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship comes with money. So I'm just saying, what is your standard? Because
I was getting to my point. So my point is, this dude was giving me all this money, taking me to these nice, expensive restaurants. Whatever I said I wanted, he did it, right? Even if I didn't ask for it, if I said I need to go visit my grandma, he's like, I'll take you. Let's go right now. He was for it, but the man was so stupid. I could not tolerate it. It was like dumbing down my IQ just talking to him. My standard is an intelligent man, wise. You have to be wise. If you have wisdom, that covers a multitude of things. You can literally have $0 and be wise and ambitious and be on hard times. I'm going to take you under my wing. We're going to hold hands and run into the sunset together and get this money. It's not about the money, because you can have money and be dumb as fuck. I'd rather you have wisdom.
And you could be wise as fuck and be broke too.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, I've been wise and broke. And guess what? I came up without selling my body. Whereas the average chick would sell her body if she was in my
money again, though.
Hey,
I got my money with wisdom.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I'm going to chime in. Now is my turn. So you say you came from a long line of spiritual teachers, right?
Yes.
So did I. Check this out. Standards. My standard is, no matter what I've been offered, if it didn't fit my standards, I didn't take it. You just said money was not the standard, but you took it.
At the end of the day, it's like this. Y'all not listening.
Hold on. I listened. I heard everything.
I no longer talk to
Hold
that
on.
man
Let me finish.
because the standard that I needed him to have, he did not have.
But you
And
took
that
the
was
money, though.
intelligence. No, listen, at the end of the day, this is what it is. This man was lonely because his wife left him. I just got out of a relationship. I needed someone to talk to get over this person.
You needed that
So
gas spread.
No, I didn't. I swear on my life I didn't. I go out, literally, I don't take this man's money unless, like, if we go on a date, he owes me, so he be handing me money in an envelope. But
let me finish though.
She said he had her money in an envelope.
Like my grandma,
So you messing with Deacon Do Wrong. I got it.
Yeah, he old. Yeah, he real old.
But listen though, this is what I was trying to tell you though, right? So
I got a question. Hold on, I just got one question. How long did you entertain this man?
Just for like 2 months, but I realized after a while, because when I started talking to him, I had just broken up with somebody, and I was hurt, so I was venting to him. But once I got done venting, I gave him the floor to talk. Right?
So he paid you to vent?
No. Basically, it was like a companionship. We both needed companionship. So it was like,
so he wanted some pussy.
Listen.
He wanted you to
y'all
make them
stop?
three teeth.
Can y'all stop?
You just said that the area where you live
It's
is
prostitute.
based off of prostitution.
Exactly.
Wait, this man was married.
He wanted to buy some ass. What are you
No, but he knew from Jump Street that he wasn't getting it. You know what woman is a prostitute. I told him. That.
He did not know that.
I said, you're not getting
nothing.
Do you know how many times I saw this dude?
Wait. Do you know how much women say they not giving a dude ass and end up giving it to him?
Do you know how many women like me I'm so raw, I will hurt your fucking feelings so hard?
What's your name?
My name is Vita.
He definitely wasn't giving you his breach without
I saw this dude.
He was gonna get some ass.
I saw this dude 3 times, right? Y'all gotta stop thinking.
You saw this man with 3 teeth in his mouth.
3 times. Each teeth got a day.
At the beginning of the time that you met this man, you knew he had 3 teeth in his mouth.
I didn't. Cause he was
you didn't see them 3 teeth out?
He was talking like a puppeteer.
bunch of time I can't let them sit.
What was your standards at before?
Facts.
Let me explain something to y'all. It's very I'm not shallow. No, let me explain something to y'all.
Hold on.
I'd rather have a male friend. I'd rather have a male platonic friend than a boyfriend. I am the only girl of 6 brothers. I connect with dudes on a totally different level.
What level is that?
Listen, I've been friends with dudes for 10 years and never kissed them, never touched them, never rubbed them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like 10 dudes like that I've been cool with. I'd rather be a man's friend than his woman because those relationships last longer. To me, my standards is intelligence. I don't care about money. You got to be smart. That's it. And I cut this man off.
So you would be with a broke, intelligent dude.
And let me tell you why.
Are you saying
yes? I know how to take him to the money. Yes, I know how to take him to the money.
But you said it's not about the money.
But what I'm saying is exactly. So if he's broke, can I tell you a story?
Wait, I'm asking a question. Suppose he want to sit home and read books and be intelligent as fuck.
Hell no. You gotta be ambitious. Okay, let me tell you my standards.
He is being ambitious by reading books.
Intelligent. I love businessmen. I prefer to date a businessman.
Money again.
It's not the money. It's the like mind.
That's money.
It's the like mind. Stop
business
twisting my words. Listen, I've been with a businessman that wasn't balling. Just because he had the knowledge to teach me when I was younger.
That's bad business etiquette.
No, but at the same time, it's like this. Let me tell y'all a story. Back in the day when I was like 19, I dated a guy that was like 29, right? And he didn't have money like that, but he had a good job.
Okay, I want to hear the story. Let's listen to the story.
Listen. He didn't have money like that. You keep switching my fucking words, and I'm gonna
go ahead. Say what you saying. Say what you're saying.
You're gonna be in them bushes in the back. Listen. So.
Hey.
So listen. So he didn't have money like that, right? But he was loyal. He was a good dude. He was the type of dude if a chick tried to talk to him, he you would body slam her and tell me like, yo, she tried to talk to me, I ain't having that shit. And that's what I like. Somebody that stood his ground against chicks coming for him. Because when a dude, not really, I'm just saying, figuratively. So when a chick sees, like, let's say, I like the dude in the background. I don't like the dude in the forefront, right? So I like the dude that you funny. I like the dude that most women would never really look at. Like he's a boss, but on the low, and very humble. And once I get with a dude, all the chicks want him all of a sudden. Everybody's throwing themselves at him. And I need that dude to be able to stand his ground. And this dude did it, right? So he was he didn't have much. He had just went through not a divorce, but he broke up with his fiance. He gave her the car, gave her everything, and sent her on her way. We were neighbors, and one day I knocked on his door. I'm like, yo, I need you to come out to this bikini contest, cheer me on, whatever. And he was like, you're gonna be my wife. And I was like, nah. So he was like, yo, I'm gonna cook for you. I need people to cheer me on at this contest at this bar. I was in the bikini contest, and I needed people to come and cheer me on.
Who was at the bikini contest? The guy?
No, I was in the bikini contest.
She looked like
I
Joanna
knocked on the door
in
because
the
I knew it was
face.
always him and his
Hold up,
boys
let
in
me
his house
see. Let
playing
me see.
their dice, whatever they were playing. So I was like, yo, come through for me, you and your boys. And he was like, no, I can't come through, but you're going to be my wife, and I'm going to do this for you and do that. I was like, yo, you chill.
These machines have been recalled due to the toxic foam in these devices breaking down into black particles and gas that can be inhaled or swallowed by a CPAP user. Call 800-482-3794 now, as you may be entitled
She don't even got no fucking pictures of herself.
to see if you qualify. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with lung, kidney, or liver cancer, call the hands of the Most High. Only the hands of insurance companies don't rush to treat you fairly or pay you fairly. Let us
Crazy. I'm gonna go upstairs, whatever. So he started calling me every day, like, yo, I'm cooking tonight. What you want for dinner? I was like, nothing. Leave me alone. Like, why you keep calling me? So he's from the South. He cooked from scratch, right? And when I went to his house, he gave me all the passwords to every account. He was like, yo, look, I didn't even know what Facebook was at the time. He was like, this is Facebook password. Here's this password. Here's that password. And I'm like, why are you giving me all this? And he was like, because I want you to trust me. So every day, he just proved that I could trust him every single day. So I ended up being his girlfriend after everybody told me to. And this man he was bumming a ride to work, but he had a good job. Y'all remember Black Label? Black Label, the clothing label, the t-shirt? Anyway, so he worked for them, and he was like an operations manager, made good money, but he was drinking his money away. So I came in his life, and I'm like, yo, you got to start saving your money. I helped him start saving his money. He's bumming a ride, and dudes are playing him because he's bumming a ride to work. They're treating him like, no, I'm not done. My standards is intelligence, morals, good morals, good morals. I don't care about money because I can help you get your money.
But Vita, you can help me get my money?
Yes, definitely.
But Vita, you took the money from the man with 3 teeth.
So what? I took it. You want it?
No, I don't need it.
Okay, leave me alone then.
No, but you're not answering the question.
I took his goddamn money.
You know what?
And you know what? I got him gifts. He got me
gifts.
gifts.
On here loud and proud. Everybody up there talking about money. It's not about money.
It's not about money.
But I took the money from the man with the 3 teeth.
Y'all are being so narcissistic right now, and I will.
No, not really.
No, you being
yes,
narcissistic.
You are.
You being narcissistic.
Yo, what you want to do, yo? For real, because you be talking shit. What you want to do?
Ma'am.
Oh, I know. I see why you in the dark now. Now I see why you in the dark. Now I see why you in the dark.
I'm in the dark because, no, let me hear to do that. Let me hear this guy. What's his name?
BK, you say you spiritual, right? You sound like Jezebel to me.
You better ask God.
Jezebel.
Listen, at the end of the day, however you perceive me is your business. That's your business. God knows who I am, and that's all that matters. I don't care what you think. You better ask God. You better ask God who I am.
I got one question.
You better ask God who I am. Because y'all twisting my words. Y'all twisting my words.
You giving us what you
At the end of the day, I took his money because he insisted continuously. And I gave him gifts, and I gave him time. And guess what? When I would spend time with him, time is money. If I'm out making my money and you're begging me for a date, if you're begging me for a date and that's the day that I make my money.
We'll see you later. We'll see you later, Vita. Thank you.
No, don't cut me off.
Vita, we'll see you later. Thank you.
What was that? Hey, yo, what I want to know is, right? Hold on. What I want to know is, right? You came on here loud and proud talking about it's not money, it's not about money, it's not about money, right? And then you said the Bible. You even referred to the Bible and said the Bible says good name is better than. And then you revert right back to money.
But what I heard was he met me in an area where strippers reside.
It's given.
No standards.
As soon as I heard that, I was like, hold up.
Oh God. That's your standard.
He met me where prostitutes reside, and I needed the other guy that lived next door to come cheer for me in the bikini contest. What's up, Shay?
Hey, how you doing?
What was that giving just now? Let me know. What was that giving?
It was giving, I'm very confused. I have not really sat down and thought about what I really value in a person, and I haven't experienced somebody that I actually value.
You know what's crazy to me? Let me tell you how I perceive people, right? Now, if I don't know you, and you got to sell yourself to me before we converse, you're already giving narcissistic, lying-ass vibes to me.
Yes.
This woman came on here, hid in the dark, then started to tell us, give us a whole Yelp review. Oh, my grandfather was born in 1930, and he was very wise, and his son was very wise, and his son was very wise, and I was spiritual, and I was spiritually spiritual. And then, I met this dude with 3 teeth, and I took his bread.
We missing a lot of in between. I feel like there's some stuff going on there. Like,
how we got there?
So, lady, what is your standard?
And then she was threatening us. Like, what?
Yeah. What is your standards?
Okay, so I think something, and y'all know, look, I'm a sex educator out here. I study love, relationships, dating people. I'm going to sprinkle it on there. I got to do what I do, okay? So for me, I have a standard for myself.
Okay.
So what that looks like for me is I find comfort in safety, financial security, honesty, communication, understanding, and patience.
She ain't say nothing about money.
She didn't.
I said financial security though.
Oh yeah.
We're not gonna leave that out, and I'll tell you why, right?
That sounds better.
I'm a family woman, right? So when I think about me having kids with my person, and we talking about having a family, where them kids gonna eat? Where them kids gonna sleep? You know what I'm saying? Like it's the necessity out of the financial aspect of it. But I will say this, because I don't know who brought it up, but you can't trust everybody with money. So when I look at a man, I look at his relationship with money, right? If he is validating himself through the external things, like his shoes, his cars, different things like that. Like you can have nice things, don't get me wrong. But if that's who you are as a man, I'm trying to look past that, because who are you underneath all of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
then beyond that, your relationship with money, I want my kids to all have their own room. I want them to be able to have a Christmas, different things like that. But if we make money, but you got a gambling problem, and now my mortgage money is in the casino, nigga, no. What you mean? I think it's important to look at a man's relationship with money too, because that's going to tell you a lot about who he is as a person, like, and where his values lie, right? So if I say, well, one day I want my kids to be able,
she said, he was drinking his money away. So
yeah, we're not doing that, because okay, we have a son, right? You want your son to play football. You want your son to it costs.
She was giving domestic violence to me.
Yeah.
She was talking about, I like the guy because the guy would body slam a girl, and what the fuck?
Yeah, she was confused.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. But I will say this to women, right? when men say women don't listen, I think a part of the issue is that I listen too much. So I listen through all the bullshit, and if you listen close enough, a man will tell you exactly who he is. Listen, it benefits us a lot more than it doesn't. So that's my little sprinkle on that. Any questions? And yes, I am poly. Why the comments is hating on me? They don't like me.
They remember you. They remember you from the poly conversation the other night. That's what it is. Don't worry. I'm sure a lot of people jumped in your DM that night.
I'm gonna let y'all keep it going, bro. You get somebody else on.
Why? What happened to you?
No. I just want to listen. I want to listen and comment. That woman is crazy.
All right, bro.
Good night.
So let me ask you a question. So I asked the young lady earlier. I'm gonna ask you: can you reciprocate what you're looking for? Can you reciprocate that to your partner?
Oh, I prioritize reciprocity.
Okay.
I prioritize that because there's no reason not to, right? Like, if I'm asking for a man to be patient with me, I'm asking him that for a reason because I want to build safety, right? I want to build trust. Those things take time. That takes patience. So in return, let's say, for example, I was dating somebody and we had an issue. I'm patient enough to sit down and we can talk about it. We don't have to come up with a solution right then and there. But if we talk about it and we be like, all right, look, we can't figure this out. We're gonna have to come back to the drawing board or something. But at the very least, we communicated about it, and now we both have the patience between one another to come back to the drawing board. All right, cool. As long as we talk about it, as long as you're honest, we could.
All right, so you mentioned that you're not dealing with nobody who's got a gambling problem or something like that, or a drinking problem or whatever. Let's say you meet somebody that gives you all of the things that you ask for, but he's a serial cheater and he's trying to work on it. Are you going to be patient to work with him through that?
Why are you cheating and I'm poly? Why are you cheating?
What you mean? People don't cheat because of the act. It's because of the. So a lot of people cheat because of the thrill of just not getting caught. You know that, right?
Yeah, and for that reason, I will gladly allow you to do that with someone else because that like let me tell you, baby. Like, no, don't do me like that. Like,
I'm a conveniently tap out on that.
Yeah, because it's no reason not to. I want to be with my person, and I value friendship in a relationship. So if you my friend, like, why are you going? If something excites you or it thrills you, if it's just not on my wavelength, then we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. Like you could do something else if that's what you want. Because I like communication, so it's no reason why you can't communicate with me. It doesn't. I don't actually understand the logic of not. I'm not gonna be with somebody I can't talk to. I'm not gonna be with somebody who can't talk to me. That don't make sense. I make it too easy.
That's
now
true.
The standards is high.
You are poly, so.
I mean, but what I will say, and I always say, is I won't compromise character. I'm not desperate. I'm not thirsty. I just want a good dude, right? Like I want somebody that, like I said, I can be friends with. That's a good communicator. People don't know how to communicate these days. Y'all know that. People don't know how to listen.
Shorty threatened us, bro.
Hello? I stay quiet for a reason.
Hello? Hello?
People
Hello?
ain't got no lights.
Hello?
What the fuck?
Hi guys.
How you doing?
Great.
Are you gonna come with the same energy in the dark? Because we can't take no more of that.
No,
Okay.
I just never expected you guys to answer.
Oh, okay, cool. I just can't take no more threats tonight. I'm tapped out. So talk to me about standards.
Standards. Actually, I was kind of in this situation last night where, I had to buy a guy food. So,
You had to buy him food?
yes. So I'm pretty young. I'm 22. So,
Oh.
I was waiting for this conversation to go.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, he's 22. What can I tell you? Because I'm 29. I'm about to be out of my 20s. I done made all the mistakes for you, sis. I dated that nigga too. What you want to know?
You was buying food for dudes too?
No, I wasn't. I ain't gonna. I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't. But I'm saying, I probably my homegirl probably was. So I had.
Okay, just making sure, you know.
Look,
so if your man hungry, you ain't gonna buy him no food?
I cook for him. But if we out, he hungry, yeah, I'm buy my man some food. He my man at that point, of course. But I mean, are we talking about my man or some nigga that's like?
Oh, your potential. Let me say this. Your potential.
I'm in prison.
Oh.
Oh, he's taking in prison. Hey.
That's what you said?
I'm in prison.
I hope you safe. I hope you doing good. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
We can't fuck with that.
How y'all doing?
I'm good, brother. How
Third
you,
world
man?
Wi-Fi.
I'm blessed. I just, sitting up watching you all the time on your day. But she's a beautiful sister. How is she doing?
Yes, they got 3G in prison. I just want you to hold your head, my brother. I can't really hear you. My brother.
Okay, let me put you in another spot.
Okay, there you go. Stay right there. There you go. You good right there.
Yeah, this is my little media center right here. So, how y'all doing?
I ain't Muslim.
I'm blessed and highly favored, my brother. How you doing?
Well, you know, I got a big ass movement out there trying to get me out of prison. Actually, we got a documentary coming up about my life. I've been in here 32 years now.
You've been in there how long?
Wow.
3 years.
3 years or 33?
33.
Oh wow. All right, talk to us about Talk to us about why you're in there. Talk to us about that. Because you said you got people trying to get you out of there.
Yeah. You see, I got the Black Lives Matter LA chapter. They do a lot of radio shows on me. It's a lot of people that's trying to get me out. I've been incarcerated since I was 16 in 1989 for a gang murder. Some dudes in my neighborhood, a dude in my neighborhood actually did this shit. And when they was doing the investigation, dudes got to bringing my name up in it. So eventually I got caught up. I ain't said nothing since I've been in there. Like I said, I've been here since 1989. Since I was 16, I'm 49. And it's been a long ride. Things are starting to happen for me. I'm starting to see the light. A lot of people are rallying me now. And you know, my whole thing is that, you know, I grew up house of blood when I grew up in Watts, California. And yeah, you know, the struggle has been real. You know, I got an organization right now called No Comrades Left Behind. And we do a lot of things for the people. Actually, you know, we're the voices. But I spend like 5
He got a whole media center in his room. That was crazy.
It's the fourth phone out in 4 months. And these phones go for 5,000.
Yeah, I know. I got a friend that's locked up right now that told me it's like $5,000, and the little finger phones that you can't see nobody on is like 800.
It's crazy. So you know they getting up.
Crazy.
I'm not bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, you know, the struggle is real, and a lot of times we are the voices, so people don't hear us. So I don't.
There's the CEO.
Because since I've been having them, I've been networking with a lot of people. East Coast, Canada, London, not from LA, y'all. So I've been networking with people all around. I got a lot of things going on, and I'm about to be out.
So tell us about the book that you got and the documentary that you got, brother.
Okay, my documentary has come out. It's called God's Son. It's based on my second.
Come free this bad. Wait,
don't get in no trouble, bro.
They tag at Kim K.
Oh, we good.
Okay.
Let y'all see what it look like.
Yeah. For the people that don't not familiar. Shout out to everybody in LA too.
For real. This is what all my cosmetics. This is what it look like.
investigation.
When you get over there, it's about to chop up a little bit.
I'm gonna get choppy. This is what it's like inside of a maximum security prison in California. It's one of the maximum.
It look like nothing's moving right now.
Nothing is because we on.
So y'all on? So what y'all on? 23 hour lockdown?
Oh shit, we haven't been out in 2 weeks.
Oh shit.
So we on 24. We're on the 24th right now. We haven't been out in 2 weeks.
Damn.
So I'm gonna read the back of my book for you. It's actually a new cover on the documentary right here. This is one of my memoirs. I got actually two. This one right here is called The Life and Times of an LA Blood by Jay Burton. It's on Amazon. Yeah, Amazon. But it got a different cover.
Right.
Now, the back part of this book, it says, because it talks about, this is actually a real good book. My name is Jay Burton. It says Jay Burton's story chronicles volume of Shattered Mirror, draws from his life and experiences growing up in West California. He paints a picture of the 1980s, which captures his raw opinions concerning the gangs, drugs, corrupt policing, and social injustices that heavily dominated his reality. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Unit called the Vikings used a gang member and convicted drug addict to build a murder case on him. Jay opens up his pain, and Jay opens up on the pain and grief his mother endured while raising a man-child where odds were visibly stacked against him. Then losing him to the system at 16 years old to serve 30 years to life in California state prisons. The saga of this true life story is said to be a two-part memoir with God's Son Buried Alive, detailing over 30 plus years of continued appeal denials, becoming a staunch, I'm breathing hard. Becoming a staunch, excuse me. The saga of this true story is said to be a two-part memoir with God's Son Buried Alive, detailing over 30 plus years of continued appeal denials to becoming a staunch freedom fighter and social justice reform advocate from behind bars. So that's what the publisher told him back about what this book is about, right?
So I got a question for you, brother. So a crime took place. It happened, and they started calling your name on this crime.
Well, what it was a few names that these informants that they had in our neighborhood was bringing up. See, back when I was out there in 1980, I was 16. I was one of the young ones that happened to be coming up in the dope game real heavy, and that brought a lot of envy. Because, you know, especially back then, if you was a young dude having money like that, even though that when you look back at then, that wasn't really money. But our perception of money back then was several thousands of dollars. The ghetto back then. So, like I said, I was one of the young ones that was actually, you know, starting to do big things. So there was envy going around. So when I guess somebody got killed in a rival gang in Compton, California. And I'm from West California. We right next to each other. And during the investigation, my name came up. But it was a few of our names came up, and I'm just happened to be the only one that's in prison.
Wow.
The thing is, everybody knew how to do it. But when they said about this, they had a sheriff unit, a Los Angeles sheriff unit called the Vikings. They call themselves the Viking Sheriffs. Out here, they got sheriff gangs. You can Google this. They got sheriff gangs out here, and there's a lot going on, like with the Black Lives Matter out here. They've been protesting real hard, trying to expose what they already been exposed. They've been exposed for years. These police gangs, sheriff police gangs. So I'm really part of a scandal that's been going on for several decades.
Right.
They said my fingerprint was on a gun. During trial, they bought a photo negative. Back up, you remember when you take pictures, you gotta take it to the store. They give you the brown negative. They bought a negative to trial. You know, you use a negative to make a picture. Right. They bought a negative to trial. When they bought that negative to trial,
so they never developed the picture.
They never developed the picture. I've been trying for 30 years to get a copy of that negative. My attorney, he's so foul. He was riding with him. He never even asked for a copy of this negative.
This was a paid lawyer?
No, this was a
All
state.
right.
That little drug money. I thought I had a little money. That shit was gone soon because I went to the juvenile halls. I was in juvenile halls for a minute, and then they tried me as a dope. Then they sent me over to the county jail. The adults.
Wow.
You know, so all that little money that I did have, some of the homies that knew I kept a stash at, I know it was homies that did it. But the thing is, I'm talking about with the stash of the money, so I didn't have enough money for no
Right.
time. But and at the same time, I didn't even think I was about to get convicted because I was young, but I was naive. I didn't think they was gonna convict me because I knew I wasn't nowhere around at that time. So okay, when they tried me as dope, I started going to a dope court, and we started trial. The informant came and said, "Look, I was on dope, and I just wanted to get out of jail." They showed me some pictures of some dudes. I told them I knew him from the neighborhood, and I never said he did it, but I was on drugs, so maybe I did say it. And then they said, "Well, is you scared something gonna happen to your family if you testify against Jay?" He said, "Well, no." Then they hurry up and said, "Oh, this is why he ain't testifying against Jay, because something gonna happen to his family." And it was just all crazy. So the thing is, they said, "Well, we got his left brain fingerprint on the gun." Now, I remember the beta kept telling me over and over, man. He kept saying, "Man, you going home." But next thing you know, they convicted me. Because now the trial is not really about me no more. The trial is now they bring all these so-called gang experts who happen to be part of that Linwood Viking police gang themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to say, yeah, this is what the Bloods do. The Bloods, they go out and they kill people. And and here it is. And I'm looking at my lawyer like, why is you letting this dude say this? Because especially during the late 80s, when that gang stuff really started hitting it just went crazy. And you can be a young black male and you sitting right there, you automatically guilty. Oh, you part of a gang? You guilty. We know you did it. So like I say, I've been trying literally for 3 decades to get a single fingerprint so I can get out of prison.
So you
was
was sentenced to 30 years to life?
Yeah.
And you have never seen the parole board or nothing yet?
Well, in 2014, they had they came out with a new law for youth offenders, guys who was juveniles tried as adults, and basically they start bringing us to the parole board early. And at that time, they had me in solitary confinement for 9 years because I had elevated my conscious level from that of a blood to a political blood. What I mean by that, I start politicizing this movement. And when they start seeing me politicizing this movement, they seen that I became a threat. Not see when I was on the gangbanging stuff, I wasn't no threat. But when I started becoming politicized, I became a threat. They start seeing me getting these Bloods and Crips together. I even created this for the Bloods and Crips. They mad at me because of this. I created that, right? And I start bringing, because I got a lot of influence, so I start bringing the Bloods and Crips together. And I start lacing it. Not just me, but it's a few other ones. But I start using my influence. And they said, look, we're going to validate you, and you're never going to see the general population again unless you snitch, parole, or die.
Wow.
I stayed back there 9 years.
Wow.
And they tried to break me for 9 straight years. They had me housed underground. They got a prison out here in California called Pelican Bay.
Yeah, I know.
You ever
I know Pelican Bay.
Yeah, it's underground. So they had me locked up.
That's not where you at though, right? You're not in Pelican Bay, right?
I'm down south.
Okay.
The thing is, so I'm going about when I'm talking about the parole board. Now, when they passed that law for the youth offenders, they said on my 25th year, they said, okay, you can go to the parole board as a juvenile, as a youth offender. You can go early. Now, I think that was around 2013, 2014. Now, if you're sitting in the in segregation, if you go to the parole board, they're gonna automatically deny you for 15 years. And I wasn't back there for disciplinary reasons. This the code for it. I was not in a hole for disciplinary reasons. I was in a hole because they said I'm a threat to the safety and security of the institution. That was because of the mind I had. It had nothing to do with no weapons, no nothing. They kept me back there for 9 years. But I'm not the only one that kept back there. Everybody's that they kept back there that they felt was a threat, There was dudes back there for 20, 30 years. But back in 2013, we had a 30,000 prisoners in the state of California hunger strike to help us get them back there. About two dudes died, sacrificed their life and died. I mean, I didn't eat for 2 weeks. So what they did, because it got out, because we had people all on the streets, you know, putting it on the social media that we finna do a mass hunger strike, right? So once it got out to the public what's going on in these prisons, the prisons, what they started doing, they start they got a court order to force feed, because they don't want, because this stuff is not looking good. How is it that 30,000 prisoners in one state is hunger striking? That means something is going on. So when we expose them, they start you know, a lot of lawyers start getting involved, and then we start working out peace treaties. So what we did, like with the Mexican mafia, and because these the only people they had locked up is like who they call the BGLs, the Black Gorilla families, the the Mexican mafia, and the Aryan brothers. These are the ones they considered they can't be in general population. So when they took me, they said, you're not a blood no more, you done moved up, you're a Black Gorilla family, so you can never be on the main line again. So remember, I'm not back there for no disciplinary reasons. They said, they designated me and said, I am one of them now. So we gonna make sure you never
somebody
get
tagging Beyonce. Like, what the fuck is Beyonce gonna do? Really?
So everybody made agreement. The Mexican mafia, the Aryan brothers, and the BGL. BGL's got at them and said, look, we gonna end all hostilities, because that's what they're using to keep us back here. So everybody did agreement that there would be no more race riots at all. So once we start getting out,
what's the crime? You ain't paying attention.
They set one of the brothers up. This brother was down since the 60s. His name is Hugo Pennell. He was. Oh, y'all heard of Hugo Pennell? But Hugo Pennell, he was one of the original BGLs. Hugo Pennell, he has a history from back in the days that if you mess with one black prisoner, we killing one of y'all COs. He was part of that unit back then. So he did like, I think 40-some years in isolation. So when they started letting us out in 2014, they set him up and they killed him. They killed him. They had some white dudes come up and just they had the Mexicans and the white boys came together, and they had the Mexicans to block the blacks off, because Hugo Pennell, he was like, his status in prison that you have to protect him. You got to keep people around him at all times because of who he was from back in the days. He's one of them dudes from back in the days. So the Mexicans came and they blocked all the blacks off. And they let the white boys, there's about 4 white boys, they jumped on him, they held both his arms. He's an older brother. They held both his arms down, and they held him and they planted him on the ground and got to stabbing him to death. They stabbed him to death, and then when the blacks finally made it to it, they killed 2 white boys. It was just crazy. And I had just left that yard. They just sent me from that yard to another prison, right? Because they, like I say, they started letting us out slowly but surely. But the key thing was they needed to show the courts, because the courts eventually told them, y'all need to let these people out, because y'all been got them sitting back there all these years. Once they did that to Hugo Pennell, it was about to be repercussions. But remember, we know that this is what the police wanted. And like I said, during that riot, you know, a couple of white dudes got killed. But the thing is, one of the major dudes got killed. But they was like, man, we can't let the police dictate us no more. Because if we let it dictate us, this war is gonna go on for years.
So when is the next time you're supposed to see the parole board?
Okay, in 2017, they denied me for, because I waited till a few years after I got out. In 2017, they denied me for 7 years. Here it is. I got all kind of support out there, right? And I went in the parole hearing, and they said, well, you was validated. I said, okay, what that got to do anything? I'm programming now. And they said, well, plus you're not sounding like plus they said you're not sounding like an inmate. You sound like you're an attorney. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, because of these reasons, we're going to deny you parole for 7 years. This is 2017.
Because you sound like an attorney?
Yeah, he said you're not sounding like an inmate. I said, man. And they said, if you get out, what would you do for employment? So I've been a part of this entrepreneur program, and this entrepreneur, I end up winning first place on this entrepreneur program called the Defy program, the Defy Victory program. And in this entrepreneur program, this woman, she brings these multimillionaires up here, and they teaches us how to become entrepreneurs. And if they like our project so much that we can mess with them once we get on the street. So we did a Shark Tank event. Out of 60 other prisoners, I won first place. I won $600, and I had a bunch of the millionaires saying, if you get out, they said, because I am a jailhouse lawyer, so I am a jailhouse lawyer. So I was showing how I've won tens of thousands of dollars, not just for myself, but for a bunch of prisoners fighting prison conditions. And when I was showing these people doing my Shark Tank pitch, they was like, wait a minute, if you can do that here, imagine what you can do on the streets. So that's basically how I won first place out of everybody when we was doing a Shark Tank pitch to these people after we graduated. So I'm telling the parole board this. They say, you know what? See, most prisoners that come in here, they call them inmates. I don't like using the word inmates. So they said most inmates that come in here, they would have said they clean floors for a living. And I'm like, I didn't know that's what I was supposed to say.
It's crazy.
And so they were just tripping on me. And then when I got to explain it to them, I feel bad for the victim, their family. But there's other victims as well. My mother did. My family are victims as well because they lost their child as well. They said they didn't like nothing I was saying. And I was like, I've been explaining to y'all. I've been trying for 30 years to get a fingerprint to prove my innocence. These people have been holding this fingerprint. They will not disclose it to me because they know it's not mine.
Well, one thing I can say to you is fighting any felony or any case with a state lawyer, you already lost because they work for the state. That's who pays them. So they working with the DA. They working with the attorneys that's going against you. So I mean, I understand, and it's sad. It's sad that you've been sitting in jail, and I don't know. I don't know if you're guilty, if you're not guilty. I don't know that, and I don't know the case. But what I do know is that was already written in stone. Like, you know what I'm saying, going up there with a legal aid. You know what I mean? So and it's unfortunate that you're sitting in prison for 33 years and it's crazy that you said that because my son is 16. I got a 16-year-old son right now. My son, was kind of going down the wrong path and, stuff like that. And it just resonated with me so much. I don't know why you called in. We was talking about something totally different, but I believe that everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And God don't make mistakes, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, I'm actually having this conversation with you because it resonates with me, with my son. I almost went upstairs to call him so that he can hear this conversation. Yeah. But I'm going to save this live and I'm going to make him watch it. You understand what I'm saying?
You know what? My mother, this is the cool thing about numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it is somebody that did it from my hood. I'd rather he's still alive and not out there. I know I didn't have nothing to do with this at all. Like I said, that's why I got some prominent people that's actually out there trying to help me fight this. I didn't have the Innocent Project. They tried to get the fingerprints. They shut them down. They wouldn't let the Innocent Projects get the fingerprints. They wouldn't let nobody get these fingerprints. I hired 2 other lawyers to get the fingerprint. Now this last lawyer I just hired, I just gave him like $15,000 to get this fingerprint. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up. Now, my mother was 16 when she had me. 17. My mother was 16. 16 years later, I was snatched up by these people. 16 plus 16 is 32, right? All these years that I've been trying to get this fingerprint, in the last month of the 32nd year, the courts, my attorney went to county court. The attorney and a DA, the judge told my attorney and a DA, y'all work this out. This was on my 32nd year. My case has never made it this far in 32 years. It took the 32 years, the 32nd year, and the last month of the 32nd year for my case to get back to you.
Wow.
So, I was tripping off these numbers like, damn. So now with that information, the DA got until the 25th of this month to turn over this information. So I talked to my attorney the other day. He said he called the DA a couple of times, but the DA is not responding to the calls. So this is a whole nother dilemma, because I was explaining, I said, look, the fingerprint don't exist. I don't think they're going to turn this print over, but the thing is, what do we do from there? So I did an interview not too long ago.
And you said they was turning down your things, right?
What
your appeals. They've been turning it down.
Yeah, my appeals, all my appeals been shut down because like there's a Netflix documentary called Innocent Files. There's a guy named Frankie Carrillo. When I was sitting up there in Pelican Bay and locked up.
He's from New York, right?
I didn't even look at
You're in New York, right?
Frankie Carrillo, he's out of LA. He's out of Linwood, California, but it's all right. I'm watching the Ricky Lake show, and this guy, as I'm watching it, like I said, I never even watched TV at this time, but some said cut the TV on. So I cut the TV on. He on Ricky Lake show. This was about 2012. This was our new talk show, and this dude talking the way he described it. He said he just got exonerated after doing 20 years, and as he's speaking his case, I'm like, damn, that's the same thing happened to me. And the irony of his situation, mine happened when I was 16 and 89. His happened in 91 when he was 17. He was tried as a and everything. The same pigs that was involved in his case, the same pigs, not this. I mean, he got a couple of different ones, but they are all the same pigs that was involved in my case. The same that happened to him, how they crossed him. Like I say, it's on an Innocent File, and I'm looking at this. So I wrote my sister, and I said, look, I need you to look up this dude Frankie Carrillo. And Frankie was like, he got close with one of the prison staffs. He didn't go into depth, but he said I got close to somebody while I was in prison. And they had an attorney friend, and their attorney friend, this lady, she went and convinced her attorney friend, man, you need to look into this case. So as he's speaking, he said he said the attorney name on the talk show. So when I went to the law library, I went and looked up the lawyer name. Now one of them was a professor. It was two of them. One was a professor, and one was a public defender out of Sacramento, California. I said, well, I know the public defender didn't go on. So I spoke to the professor. But the professor already knew who it was, so she sent the letter directed to the public defender. The public defender wrote me saying, yes, there is a division called the Linwood Viking Sheriffs that the federal courts labeled them as a neo-Nazi ring gang. I mean, you can Google them, the Linwood Viking Sheriffs, and this is what pops up. So, as I told my sister, I said, look, find a way to get in contact with Frankie.
So this guy Frankie, what's his ethnicity?
He's a Mexican, and he was part of a Mexican gang. And but he got exonerated after 20 years, and me and him, we became partners. So about a year, a little over a year ago, he had told me, watch Netflix. The name is called Innocent Files. So as I'm watching this, because he would never really get too much information, I had no idea the same attorney that I had was the same attorney he had. We went in the same courtroom, and we had the same detectives that was involved in this.
He had the same public defender?
No, it wasn't the same public defender. Oh, no, excuse me. No. What it is, they call them state appointers, because he's an actual lawyer, but they appoint lawyers, real lawyers, to do certain cases. And this dude had the same attorney. And in the documentary, they talk about how this attorney is trash, how he just allowed. They didn't understand how this lawyer just allowed this stuff to happen. Now it comes back to me. Man, they bought a fingerprint, a negative. How is it that when they flash this negative in your face, you didn't ask for a copy of that, because that's what they got that's holding your client. You're supposed to got a copy of that. And for years, he wrote me about 2 years ago and said, because I said, look, I need a copy of that because the courts won't let me back in the courts. I need a copy of that fingerprint. He wrote me and said, I never had a copy of that. How is it you never had a copy of the print they used to convict me? That's the only thing they got. Yes. So that's what I'm going through right now. And like I said, I don't know what it is with that 16 and 16 and that 32, but my case finally opened
Hey,
on the 32nd.
I got a question for you, brother, because I think there's a lot of people that are watching that could really benefit from what you're speaking on right now. What would you tell a young person today, for the parents that are on here, the single parents, you know, the parents that are dealing with troubled youth? What would you tell that young person that you have learned from your situation, having been, you know, in a gang or been in the wrong place at the wrong time or anything like that? What would you tell that? What would you tell the young people that may have access to this live right now?
Well, first and foremost, one thing about gangs, the whole gang lifestyle is corrupt. It's a deception. And you hearing that from a real gang member. I'm not a gang banger. It's a cold deception. One thing about this, it's a peer pressure thing. So we got to live a certain way. So we got to live a certain way.
Get a phone call.
And this way is so foul.
What's going on, boy? Somebody trying to call his phone or something.
I knew that. I knew that's what it was.
So, one thing about this gang lifestyle, it's a cold deception. Because I've been in here for all these years, and my so-called homies who should have done something to make sure that I don't have to go through this, and that dude that actually did this stuff. Well, then again, that's that lifestyle. Because we live by street codes, and them street codes are not written codes. It's just some shit that we made up.
And none of that matters in a courtroom.
It don't matter. And it don't even matter for the parents, because your parents is like, why is you gonna give up your life for this? But parent, you got to understand that I'm a part of something that is corrupt, but it's a cold lifestyle. I wouldn't wish being a part of it. If you're gonna be a part of a gang, like my little brother, he was 3 years old when I came to jail. And when he grew up in the hood, he was hearing all this stuff about me growing up. And the stuff he was hearing, I consider is negative. So I had to change my way. So I eventually heard that my mama bring him up here to visit me, right, throughout the years as he was growing up. And you know, what the streets told him and what he seen in the visit room was two different people. I wasn't trying to project that game. But the thing is, he wasn't comfortable with that one. He was comfortable with the street, with the people told him in the street. And that's the image he always was comfortable with. He wasn't comfortable with the image of me being a man. Instead of me being a gang banger, I was being a man, and he wasn't comfortable with that at all.
So he more glorified the street fame.
Yeah, the street fame. That street fame is alluring, it's beautiful until you get caught up. So with those that want to get involved in the street life, I'm telling you, it's a cold consequences that you got to pay. It's a cold consequence.
And you went in at 16, so you ain't had no kids at that age, right? So you don't got no kids right now.
No, actually, I made my daughter in here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I have a daughter, and I raised my daughter for 20-something years straight in the visit room. But because I was so caught up in the prison politics, I was in a hole a lot. And I ain't talking about that the one when I did the 9 years, but like every time something happened, because when you get put in position, you got a lot of responsibility.
Absolutely.
Because when I first came to prison, I was a fresh 18 when I first came to prison. I looked so young. Them older dudes, they was real militant when I came back, and back then they used to educate us. But now all that stuff is basically over. So they used to educate us, but I didn't know back then they was indoctrinating me to carry the next torch.
Exactly.
And once I came up, I didn't realize that this was what they doing, but it put a lot of responsibility on me. So when my ex-wife, when she was running for me all them years, she had no clear understanding on why it's always you, because she was part of a prison wife club, right? She was like, what? None of their husbands get in stuff. Why is it that you always get stuff? Because they wasn't in position.
I mean, it must be. It must be so rough, right? It must be so rough and so hard to see people come in there. You see some. You. I'm sure you done seen dudes come in there, do their time, and leave you in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that got
the one that's trying to call me right now. That's the one that's calling me right now. He's my ex-cellie. He's like a little brother to me, man. And this is his third time coming to prison. And he's the same age as my prison number. Yeah, he's 33 now.
Wow.
He just turned 33. He just turned 33 the other day. He done been in prison 3 different times. And his second time, I think the second time he came to prison. See, and he one of them dudes, he real wild. I mean, he's really with the front line and everything. Every time something come up, he raise his hand and go do it. That's the type of dude he is. And he just did 5 years now. He'll probably go home in about a week. But his last term, he almost lost his life. A week before he was to go home, a riot jumped off. Mexicans and blacks jump off. One of our quarter homies was getting stabbed to death. Mexicans were stabbing him to death. And my ex-cellie, his name Green Eyes, he ran over there to go help. Green Eyes, they told Green Eyes, look, it's on right now. Do not leave your cell. Stay in your cell. We're going to go take care of this on the yard. But he don't care about that. He loved that. He loved just to be involved in stuff. But that was his downfall. And this is for the youngsters. That was his downfall. Because he went out there a week to his house. When the Mexicans were stabbing one of the homies to death and everybody else trying to help, Green Eyes ran over there and grabbed the homie, and the Mexicans got to stab him all in his face.
This is
deep, bro. This is needed, though.
So he went to the hole. They all went to the hole. He's sitting in the hole, almost lost his eye, and they saved his eye. And it's things like this. When you 1 week to the house, your whole life can change.
Absolutely.
And then it's
no. You're good. I just got another question, and I'm asking these questions because I'm sure I'm able to ask what some people are not here, that are thinking.
They're not able to ask you.
Yeah, they're not able to ask you. So, if you could have a conversation with your younger self today, what would you say?
And in that entrepreneur class, that was there too. See, a lot of times it's kind of hard, but I tried to write something, but I try not to fictionalize. I try to be as real as possible. The environment I grew up in Watts, California. And the environment, poverty was thick on us. My moms was struggling. I had a father. He wasn't in the house, but my father was a dude that was real high in the game. And the cold thing about that is that him and my mom broke up when I was about 5 or 6. And this dude, when I wrote my life story, well, not that book, but God Some Very Life. When I was writing that book, I started having a clear vision of who this guy is. He wanted my mother to want him back so bad that he deprived his kid. But he was always there.
Which is what a lot of dudes do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like I say, he was there in a physical form, but he wasn't there in a financial form. So my moms would struggle. My moms would ask him for nothing. Then my moms would never talk bad about him either. But the thing is, he didn't have no understanding that that's what pushed me to the streets. So when we talk about my younger self, that kind of ushered me into the street. I used to play football and run track. I was real good at all that stuff. But the homies that I looked up to and the streets I looked up to, that weighed way more heavy than what my moms was talking about. My moms couldn't let me keep up with the Joneses. But them streets did. And the dudes I looked up to was big time drug dealers, and I wanted to be just like them. Feel me? And even though I didn't do this crime, when I was out there selling drugs, I was still destroying my community. I wasn't conscious of that though. I'm conscious of it now. But the thing is, I was unintentionally destroying my own community with that. I never tell people to feel sorry for me being in prison. Because I am a freedom fighter. I'm an advocate. I'm a jailhouse lawyer. I didn't help about 4 or 5 people get home, but it's just hard for me to do it myself. I done did so much for this stuff, the movement in prison. Not just me, a few other people, especially the dudes I grew up under. I done did so much. I done sacrificed so much. I done sacrificed my marriage, my daughter. My daughter's good. She's straight. She's well taken care of. But the thing is, I sacrificed so much. I realized why I'm here. That's why I don't take it as hard as at one time when I didn't have no clear vision of why am I here. I used to ask God, what's wrong? Why you do this to me?
So, with that being said, are you comfortable with sharing why you feel like you're there?
Well, the thing is this: I am a freedom fighter. I was put here to help people. Like a lot of interviews I do, I say, look, if I die today, I did so much for the people inside these prisons and abroad since I've been on these phones, because I help a lot of people out there too. I do a lot of interviews. I've helped so many people in these prisons because I was around the right people when I first came to prison. Back in the days, the old dudes that was like educators. So I've helped so many people. I've been in situations that I just couldn't even live another day. I wanted to just give up. But I had to think about those people that looked up to me.
Okay.
How was it that yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna share with you because I'm thinking as you're talking. I want to get it. I want to stay in contact with you. And there's somebody extremely powerful that this is what he advocates for. It's people like you, like seriously. And I don't want to mention it online, but he's very powerful, and I want to put you in contact with him in whatever way I can. And I want to stay in contact with you, even if that's writing.
So his page is called his name is Uncle Drew on there.
Yeah.
You got a pen? Write it down. Tell him your handle.
My handle is Uncle, and it's spelled UNKL.
Oh, UNKL.
Yeah, UNKL _ Drew, DRU.
All right, on here I'm Freedom for Jay Burton.
Okay. Let's see.
Freedom #4 Jay Burton. You can see a lot of posts on my
I found
my Instagram.
And tell us what's the name of your book again? The one that's on Amazon.
This one is the life and times of an LA Blood. It's gonna have a different book cover. It should have a different cover. This is called The Life and Times of an LA Blood. Shattered Mirror. A memoir by Jay Burton. You could just type in The Life and Times of an LA Blood by Jay Burton. JayBurton. And this right here, this is a pretty good book. But my book, because I only had 16 years on the street. But my book, Got Some Very Live, which we're in the middle of a documentary together right now. The documentary. As a matter of fact, y'all familiar with Freeway Rick Ross, right?
Yeah.
All right, there's a dude named Steven Kraft that's directing his movie right now, based on his life. Me and Steven Kraft, we've been talking too, because one is Freeway Rick's former right-hand man when he was in that life. His name is Lorenzo. Lorenzo is a friend of mine. So Lorenzo told Steven Kraft about my story. So he's also one of the ones that's participating in my documentary as well. Because I got a hell of a story. And, my time is coming. Like I say, if I die today, I did so much for this struggle. My people in here, they know I done gave up a lot. Like I say, I just sacrificed for my wife members, my ex-wife members come up here. Like, why is it that you put so much in that lifestyle? It's like taking from us. And it was hard for me to really get her to understand that. I was put in position because people trust me to make the right decisions. Because if you make the wrong decision, not only can I be killed, but a whole bunch of other people can get hurt. So when you be in position in these prisons, you got to take this shit serious. So I used to try to make her understand. I don't know why I'm not put in this position, but I know why. But at the same time, I'm a person with tolerance because you're dealing with so many different personalities when you're in leadership. And a lot of times, a lot of dudes do shit that'll get us caught up with other races. Then we got to go out there and go straight up. And people die. People die in the riots and stuff. And I'm just fortunate because I know God put me here for a reason. For me to never been stabbed in all the riots and stuff I've been involved, but the police has done a lot of foul stuff to me. You know, when they cuff us up and do all that stuff. But I'm talking about when we out there going at it, like literally trying to kill each other. I'm just happy. I know God has put me through all this, has brought me through all this, and I haven't been scratched in that kind of way. But I've been scratched mentally. But I try to heal my wounds by talking to other people. Like you said, what telling you. You know, I write to a lot of youth programs. I write to them, especially when I was in the shoot. I used to write to a lot of youth, like newsletters to youth organizations. And my thing is, I try not to preach to them. Because I tell people, look, the youth don't like when you preach to them. They ain't trying to hear what you're talking about. So my way of doing, I would get on their level and try to hear them out. If I'm talking to them, I try to hear them out, get on their level. And then I will make them feel comfortable with what they tell me. And then I start telling them, well, you know, this is the way you should do it.
Right.
Because like I told you about my little brother, when I found out my little brother got involved, I said, look, man, you know, I can't even tell you what you can and can't do, but what I'm going to tell you to do is change the game. Start making it work for us and not against us no more. Because when you speak about gangs, everything is negative. If you don't be a part of something, change the game.
Well, that's also something that Big U been trying to do. You know, change the narrative.
Big U, you know, me and Big U, we was
Big U, the big homie for me.
Oh yeah,
I know
Big U.
Yeah. We was in 95. 95, we was in Calipatria State Prison down all the way down south, and we had got on a bus to open up a new prison up north called High Desert State Prison. It was me, Big U, and a gang of us. And Big U being a Crip, me being a Blood, but me and Big U, we was boys. So when we going up there, he had asked to sell up. He was like, man, because they was looking for people to put in cells because it was a brand new prison. And they wanted to make sure everybody from down south, they wanted to hurry up and get us all up out of there so they could move all of us up north to be far away from home. So Big U, he was like, man, look, man, come sell up with me. So
I
we was going to sell up with
who
one of
I
our
was
homeboys.
talking about
Like,
that was
man,
from LA. That was the leader, Big U.
But the thing is, my homeboy wanted me to be in cell with him because at that time he knew I knew how to make plays to get bread. Just put it that way, without going into details. He knew I was one of them dudes back then, right? He knew I was the breadwinner, put it that way. So he was like, man, you know, we can't be in cell with Crips and all that. But the thing is, he knew I was a paper boy back then. So I've been trying to holler at him in the last couple of years, and I hollered at a couple of his homies online. Some of them be hollering at him, but yeah, Big U, me and him, we was real close.
Well, I just want to tell you, brother, I appreciate you for joining us. Like I said, everything happens for a reason. I appreciate you for sharing your story with us. Like I said, we was having a totally different conversation, and it's all good, brother. It's all good, brother. That's the least we can do. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you, man. We're gonna stay in contact as well, brother. I'm a DM you too. You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
I just followed.
Yeah. If y'all want to, I would love to do like maybe a once a week show on this. And it ain't all about me in my case, because when I like everything I do, I try to let it be known. It's not just about me. I want to do things to prevent the next Jay from coming up in here. So it's not just about me. I want to do things so men people know how to talk to their youth when it comes to stuff like this. Because a lot of times, sometimes, like, okay, I'm going to just use it before we go. Just because I'm in leadership role doesn't mean that I can control everybody. that I'm supposed to be that lead. What I do, I find somebody that I know that this person looks up to.
Uh-uh.